Hi, this is Physics Echoes. In the previous video, I explained how to approach exploration and analysis while writing the report of individual investigation. Today, we are going to discuss how to evaluate the experiment and what all points to be included while addressing the criterion evaluation. This is one of the most demanding criteria. As seen in the rubric, the maximum score for evaluation is 6. We are going to see what all points to be included to score in the highest band. Ensure to include the following points while addressing evaluation. Conclusion, scientific context, strengths and weaknesses, scope for further investigation or extension of investigation. Strand 1 is discussing about conclusion. It says that the conclusion should be described and justified based on the original argument. So how do I show it in the report? Mention it as the investigation was to find the effect of height on time of fall. And as per the data, it can be seen that as height increases, the time of fall also increases. Thus, the conclusion is connected to the argue and hypothesis. Don't forget to appreciate the quality and range of data. This means that if you're able to determine any constant or prove a relation from the data, it has to be determined with its uncertainties. According to the experiment that we have chosen, the constant that we were determining was acceleration, whose theoretical value is 9.81. The experimental value was lesser than 9.81 as per the data collected. Strand 2 says that conclusion has to be compared with accepted scientific context. What does it mean? For example, based on the data collected for time of fall versus height, a graph between t-square and height was plotted. In the previous video, I explained how to determine acceleration from that graph. Now, the graph for the data collected is compared with the ideal time taken for each height of fall by using the equation S equal to half AT square and also using the value A equal to 9.81. Then plotted new points as shown. So this is our ideal time and this is our experimental value of time. Now find the similarities and differences between these two lines. That will help you to specify the similarities and differences between the patterns of the experimental values and the ideal values. Justify these similarities by providing reasons or differences by providing reasons. For example, in this investigation, the experimentally calculated value for A, as mentioned, was lesser than 9.81. So this might be due to the air resistance, as the size of the ball used is not negligible compared to height of fall. You can look for other reasons for justification to improve the quality. So we have compared our results with a general model. This is summarizing. My experiment You're finding the model, getting the similarities and differences being justified. Strand 3 demands students to write about the strengths and weaknesses of data and method. For example, how the precision of raw data helped to get an accurate result. How the range of independent variables helped to conclude a reliable and general pattern between the variables of investigation. How certain arrangement of apparatus or following a particular approach supported in data collection and drawing conclusions. Answering these questions will help you to write down the strength. I want to warn you here, students usually forget to write about the strength of the data and methodology. So please be mindful regarding that. In addition to the strengths and weaknesses in the methodology, realistic, relevant suggestions for improvements to be made, referring to the impact of these on experiment. I would say, never ever say that weakness is due to human error without giving details or specifics. Now, how to evaluate simulation-based IA? For strand 1 and 2, follow the same approach. While working for strand 3, for simulation-based IA, the following points should be addressed. First one, reflect. Reflect on what? Reflect on the artificial nature or non-empirical nature of simulation. What does it mean? It means that the results obtained are predetermined by the author. The results are not obtained from direct observation or experience. That is, you are not doing the experiment, you're using a simulation for collecting the data. Number 2, reflect on the constraints of simulation. That is, the range of data that can be collected and the variables that can be or cannot be controlled. The next point that you need to look at is comment. Comment on the theoretical assumptions made. For example, the size of object in simulation cannot be assumed to be a point object. Again, we are referring to the experiment that we have chosen as an example. Comment on the scope of measurements like precision of data, how it will affect the calculated quantities and uncertainties. Any other relevant points as well. And the last point that you need to work on is the strengths and weaknesses of method and data. Stressing, method and data has to be considered. How do I do that? By referring to the methodology followed, comparing the chosen simulation with other simulation, the ease of analysis of data, etc. Strand 4 demanded the students to write about the possible extension for the investigation so that more breadth and depth can be considered. So this allows you to display your interest in getting a deeper study of the topic. For example, our topic of investigation was to study the effect of height of fall on the time of fall. The possible extension can be the effect of size of ball on time of fall. So thus, you're suggesting relevant and feasible improvements and extensions. So strand 3 and 4 can be concisely discussed in a table like this in your report. Keep in your mind that a discussion is required and not an outlining of strengths and weaknesses and improvements. So by putting a table like this, having data and method mentioned, it will help you to remain focused. Then you can write down the strength, weaknesses, its impact, whether it is low impact or high impact, this weakness, and the suggested improvements. That's all for today. Thank you very much.